Hey, what's up, y'all? And of course, welcome to another Alternative Factuals video. So, typically on this channel, I haven't done a Superman video, I guess. Yeah, I've never done a Superman video. So this will be the first. I don't know, let's see how you guys respond to it. First of many, I suppose. But yeah, so today I'm actually going to be talking about one of the, I would say, multiple versions of Superman that are obviously black. But also a very interesting fun fact about them is that those versions of Superman are typically more powerful than the, I guess, normal or the more prominent version of Superman, the, I guess, rebirth Superman that we all know and love, and I guess is the technically originator, I suppose. Now, I'm not including versions of Superman where it was like Superman 1 million or like the multiversal Superman or what. I'm not including augmented or alternate versions of Superman that were just like these OP versions of him in a what if scenario. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like scenarios of Superman where like he's just another race, and because he was black, it just so happens that, you know, he was just a little bit more powerful than his typical versions of himself due to the obvious change in DNA, which I'm going to get into after doing channel intro. So if you're new to the channel, please be sure to like, share, and of course subscribe. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know what you're goddamn feeling. And without further possible ado, let's kind of get into this. Okay, so we already know the origin of Superman. You know, the last son of Krypton came Krypton. We already know the story. We already know how that goes. I'm not going to go over the intro of where he came from, but I am going to go over a little bit of a few of his powers because I'm pretty sure everyone knows his powers as well. So we have the run-of-the-mill abilities where he has super strength, super speed. He has, I think, microscopic vision. He can absorb UV/solar radiation. He also has super breath, super hearing, and he is highly intelligent, which has been a combination of the fact that he just has a higher IQ, as well as a combination of the solar energy kind of enhancing his mental capabilities to a certain level. So that definitely is a part of this whole scenario. And yeah, so like I said, I'm not going over every version of, like I said, his abilities, his powers. I'm not doing all that because Superman over the course of the beginning of time has had multiple versions of different types of, you know, powers and abilities and all that stuff depending on the story. So so the point of the video I'm making today is just simply that you have versions of Superman that are black. And for example, I'll give you an example. You have Calvin Harris, who was Kal-El from technically, I believe, Earth 23. He is Superman where his father was obviously Jor-El and his mother was Laura, and that was the biological parents, and he was pretty much raised on a farm much like Superman was. No, at least the, I guess, prime Earth Superman. Now he has the same abilities and as Superman in terms of, you know, super strength, super speed, super intelligence in terms of, he's not necessarily a genius level intellect in terms of like Batman levels of genius technically, but Superman is really intelligent, and the more UV radiation he absorbs, and obviously that does increase his intelligence technically, but that usually doesn't get explored in comics because no one really cares about Superman being smart. So this version of Superman is black. He's from Earth 23. His name is Calvin Harris, who actually was heavily based off of President Barack Obama because he is president on his Earth, and I believe people do know his identity. Well, actually, no, he has a hidden identity. So the point of the matter is, it has been discussed. It has been kind of, for a little while it was rumored, it was discussed, but then it was kind of low-key confirmed. But I think it actually, you can take it as a fact, is that this version of Superman was more powerful than Prime Earth Superman. And I'm not saying he was extremely more powerful than Prime Earth Superman. It was only by a certain margin, and it was due to just a certain DNA advantage, and that's the simple fact that he was black. Now, I'm not saying it to be, you know, super race baity or whatever like that, because I know a lot of people are going to try and ingest it in such a way, and in reality, you know, if you take it that way, I personally don't care. But the whole point of saying like he was a little bit more powerful than a Prime Earth Superman is because just the pigmentation of his skin. Now, if you know anything about people who are African American, African, or, you know, Caribbean, anything of that nature, who come from any source of African descent, dark pigmentation is basically some sort of evolutionary trait in order for us to absorb and live in high sunlight environments, and it gives us an advantage. So that way, not only it's less likely that we can develop skin cancer, but also it allows us to protect our DNA from being damaged, but also it allows us to absorb sunlight a lot more efficiently. So one of the things people don't know about black people in real life outside of comics is that black will actually suffer from seasonal depression, I think, a lot more than most people do who are of lighter pigmentation, and that's for a reason. It's because obviously during the winter time, during the rotation and the, you know, the whole solar system being kind of in a position where it's a little cooler on Earth, the sunlight isn't as intense for us. So basically the primary function of our skin, our DNA, is kind of, you know, I wouldn't say irrelevant because it's still sunlight in the wintertime. It's just not as intense. So ultimately we're not absorbing the same levels of energy as we typically would compared to, you know, when the summertime is happening, when the sun is a lot more strong, more prominent, and that's the reason why we're a lot more active in the summertime. Even though we kind of complain about the heat regardless, we're still a lot more active because our skin is actually really efficient at absorbing UV and solar radiation, just because that is our DNA's purpose in terms of pigmentation. So the same concept was actually applied to Calvin Harris in terms of his ability. Not only is he Kryptonian, he's a black Kryptonian, meaning just like Superman, he can absorb solar radiation all year round, which means his powers are going to be constantly there. But there's actually going to be points in time during the year when he's going to be more powerful than Superman. And like I said, in the wintertime, it's not like we're weaker per se in real life. You know, we still function the same. We just, you know, I guess energy wise, it's just feel more active when the sun is a lot more prominent. But for the sake of comics, he's still going to be able to absorb sunlight just like Superman. He's still going to be able to do the same things all year round. But there is going to be a point in time, let's say from, I'll even give it a stretch, I say all the way from like April to like August, September, where he is just like wrecking Superman just because he's absorbing UV and solar radiation a lot more efficiently. And you can technically make the argument even during the wintertime, just because the sun is not as intense, that doesn't prevent our bodies or our skin from absorbing radiation any less efficiently. You know, it's like I said, it's not as intense, you know, as much as our skin is used to, much as our DNA is used to, but we are still nonetheless absorbing UV radiation a lot more efficiently. Meaning, if they were thrown into a scenario where there's a red sun, and much like a lot of you may know about Superman, is the fact of the matter is he's a solar radiation battery, meaning his powers won't disappear completely or immediately under a red sun. It'll gradually fade. So due to the nature of the Kryptonian nature, if like they were to kind of fight or kind of go hand in hand or fight against each other, or in some scenario in which they were both trapped on a planet where there's a red sun, ultimately they still would drain. Both of them would drain eventually, but Calvin Harris would most likely take longer for his powers to dissipate, simply because his skin was designed to kind of utilize the radiation a lot more efficiently and a lot more effectively. So it's not like certain parts of his bodies are burning the solar radiation a lot more quickly compared to like Superman's, because his skin, you know, is lighter, so his skin is not designed to kind of absorb it as efficiently as someone who's of darker pigmentation. This is also explored by I think the Superman on Earth D as well, who was obviously of the same scenario, secret identity, Kryptonian. He was married, black male. He was actually created by Marv Wolfman, and you only saw him I think once. What was it? The Legends of DC Universe, Crisis on Infinite Earths. This is from like I think February 1998, 99, one of those. But they kind of did touch about it like a little bit, like a smidget. Like it wasn't like a heavily discussed on like thing where they went into super detail. But that was more or less, I guess, flushed out with Calvin Harris later on down the line. So that's what I'm saying. It's a little weird, because you know, in a retrospect, people will feel like this is just them trying to, you know, be a little race bait, be like, hey, black look better than, you know, white people or whatever the case may be, which in reality that's not the case when it comes to this particular power set, specifically Superman's, due to the nature of his power set. That's why there is a saying, or at least there's a kind of inside thing with, you know, other people of color, where we say like literally we are the living versions of like Superman, because you know, we suffer from seasonal depression during the wintertime because our DNA is just so used to the sun. Our skin is designed for that heat, that sun, that the solar radiation. We get energy, we get more energy from the sun. So it actually does us good when we actually feel the warmth, even though we may not always know it. So I just wanted to talk to you guys about that. Like I said, one of the more powerful versions of Superman is actually just a black man. And like I said, not for racy reasons, just genetically being black enhances the Kryptonian DNA aspect, which makes him more powerful, especially during particular points in time during the year, a lot more efficiently, a lot more absorbing solar radiation, a lot more efficient. There we go, word flow. But let me know what you think about this. It's just more of a biological standpoint for Superman's abilities. But please be sure to like, share, and of course subscribe. Leave your comments down below. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know what you're feeling. And without further possible ado, I hope to see you later on. Peace out. Also, I forgot to mention that I am actually developing my my October's, I guess, horror film. So be on the lookout for that. Remember, I did say in the other video that was like 3 minutes long about channel updates and stuff, I will be still regularly uploading on this channel, but I also have another channel where I focus on short films and all that other stuff. But some of those films that apply to this channel about the supernatural, or things that are, I guess, super powered, I will be uploading on here as bonus content to thank, you know, my subscribers for being my subscribers. And hopefully when I get large enough, I can actually do the whole channel subscriptions. And well, I say hopefully, but when you can do the channel subscriptions, and maybe I'll even do Patreon. Let's see how y'all feel about it, and I can kind of take y'all in on my process of how I make these short films and stuff like that. But be on the lookout for that. I promise it'll be worth it, just to thank you guys. So once again, like, share, and of course subscribe, and peace out.